1 and 0, 2. Now, what two things do we need to write an equation in slope-intercept form? Slope and y-intercept. We need M and B every time. We need M and B. For every equation, if we have M and B, we're ready to write it in slope-intercept form. Now, did they give me the slope? They didn't give it to me. They gave me 2 points. Right? I can find it, right? I can find it. But they didn't give it to me. Did they give me the y-intercept? Yes. How did they give me the y-intercept? Yeah. If you have 0 for the x value, then that y value is where we're crossing the y-axis, thus the y-intercept. Right? Right? If there's a value of x value of 0, then that y value is your y-intercept because that point is on the y-axis. Does that make sense? Okay, so our B is what number? Our B is 2. So in a roundabout YE, they did give us the y-intercept, right? So, what other thing do I need to write the equation of this line that goes through these 2 points? I need the slope of those 2 points. So M equals what? Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Now, I graded y'all's test, and something else I noticed grading your test is some of you still can't get a slope right from that formula. Some of y'all still can't do that, and I think y'all have done that since 7th grade. Okay, so this is serious, y'all. If you don't know how to find a slope by now, you're not going to survive this chapter. We're going to be cranking out slopes left and right. Learn it. If you need help with it, there's tutoring. Come ask me. Some of you are still not plugging things in for the correct thing. All right? Label it if you need to. This is a X, this is a Y, this is a X, this is a Y. These are 1s, these are 2s. Y'all with me? Okay. Help me plug it in, please. What is Y2? Everybody, minus what is Y1? -1 over what is X2? Minus what is X1? 4. Are y'all with me? Simplify. 2 minus -1 is 2 plus 1, which is 3. 0 minus 4 is, and the last thing you do is simplify your fraction. Will -3/4 reduce anymore? No, so there's my slope. So I've got B and M. So what's my equation of this line, y'all? Y equals, is it wrong if you leave off the X? Yes, it is. Notice that grading your test too. Okay? So I'm going to be even more picky about the equations because this is the equation chapter. All right? So we got to make sure we're accurate. So that's it. You look for M, you look for B, and then you write your equation. All right? Now look at F. What's weird about F? All right, problem F gave it to us in function notation. Now, the last section we did in chapter 4 dealt with function notation, right? F of x, right? Now, what is in the parentheses is what value? The x value, and you equal the y value, right? So it's in order, x then y, x then y. So if that confuses you, just write them. This is the 0.05. And this is the 0.417. I'm glad I'm not graphing this line because I don't want to go all the way up to 17. So do y'all see how I got those ordered pairs? Hint, hint, they go in order. X then Y. Okay? All right. Did they give me M or B? They gave me B. What's B? 5, because they gave me the 0.05 that is on that line. Right? And And that's crossing the y-axis. So the b is 5. Now I've got to get the what? So m equals what? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus it. I'm still writing it because some people still don't get it. Or they didn't get it yesterday. All right, so what is my y2? Minus what is my y1? Over what is my x2? Minus what is my x1? There we go. Is everybody okay with the plug-ins? All right, what is 17 minus 5? 12 over 4 minus 0 is 4. What's my slope? 3. So I've got m and b. So what's my equation of my line? 3x plus 5. Easy as pie? Yeah. All right. Good job. All right. So sometimes we have math given to us in a word problem that we have to write a linear equation of. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is how to tackle a word problem involving linear equations. So there's some clue words that help us to figure out if they're giving us the slope or the y-intercept in a word problem. So please write down these clue words that you see on the screen. And when you get that copied down, go ahead and open your book to page 285. I'll give you a few minutes. Okay, so these clue words. Anytime they give you a rate of change or say the word rate of change, I want you to think slope. Okay? A clue word that they are telling you the rate of change, you might see the word per. Like miles per hour. Right? That would indicate you're talking about slope. Or papers graded per minute. You're talking about teacher terms, right? Questions answered per second. All right, so per is a clue word that also means slope. All right, $25 per day. Okay, that usually is our rate. Rate usually means overtime. Okay, so that usually indicates slope. Now, if you hear the word initial amount, that means how much you have to start with. Just like our names, we call our initials the first letters of our names, right? Okay? Initial means the beginning. So that would indicate where you're starting on the y-axis, which is the what? The y-intercept for that graph. Very good. So if they say initial amount or starting amount of something, then that is your y-intercept. So we're going to look at that example 5 on page 285 about a recording studio. So everybody needs to read that with me, okay? A recording studio charges musicians an initial fee, there's a clue word, of $50 to record an album. Studio time costs an additional $35 per hour. There's another clue word. Part A says write the equation that gives the total cost of an album as a function of studio time in hours. All right? So we're going to take that above situation and make a linear equation out of it. I need two things to write in a linear equation. I need a M and I need a B. All right? So M has something to do with that word per, right? Did we say that word per? Yeah, where did we say the word per? $35 per hour, right? So you're going to take 35 and multiply it by the number of hours. We can call that X. Per means multiply, so you're multiplying the slope times something, and we're always multiplying it times X, or whatever you put there. And y-intercept, what clue word clued us into the y-intercept? The initial fee, what they charged off the bat. So how much was that? $50. You can put dollar signs or you can leave them off and we'll write in the equation. So do y'all understand why 35 is the slope and why 50 is the y-intercept? Okay? You got to pay 50 up front. Then for every hour you're in the studio, it's an extra $35. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's how we write our equation. That's the answer to part A. Okay? Then there's a B part of that question. B says, find the total cost of recording an album that takes 10 hours of studio time. How do you think we're going to do that? Right, because Y is the total cost, X is the number of hours. Right, because it said dollars per hour, right? So we're going to plug 10 hours in for X. So the total cost is going to be 35 times 10 plus $50. What's 35 times 10? $350 plus the $50 I already had to pay. So my total cost is how much? $400. Now, y'all, I'm okay if you didn't put dollar signs right here, but please put dollar signs in your answer. All right? All right? Word problems need word answers, and the dollar sign when it's talking about money. Okay, so what if they're in there for 20 hours? How would I figure that? Put 20 in for X. What if we're in there for 5 hours? Put 5 in for X, okay? So this right here is 35 gets multiplied by whatever number of hours you have. Does that make sense? All right, good job. Look for those clue words. Keep that handy. Highlight it in your notes or something because it will come in handy, including on today's assignment. All right, that's all of section 5.1. 5.2 goes right along with it. Very, very similar. If y'all just want to keep going on the same page you got, it's fine. If you want to get out new paper, that's fine. It's up to you. It's your notes. You want to flip to the back, whatever you want to do. Again, you don't need graph paper. So what happens is, in chapter 1, they took it easy on us. They always gave us the b. They always told us the y-intercept in one form or another, right? Every single time. So at the beginning, they either told us the y-intercept was something, or they gave us the graph where we could just look at it and find the y-intercept. Didn't they? Remember that yesterday, the graphs? All right, well today, they're not going to tell us the y-intercept at all. Okay? So in section 5.2, they do not tell us the y-intercept at all. They might give us the slope and they might not, but we have to get the y-intercept. Now guys, you will not be able to get a y-intercept until you have a slope. So this little order right here that I have on the screen is exactly the order you have to find these in, because you cannot get B if you don't have M. And I'll show you why in a second. All right, write the equation of the line that passes through the point -1, 3 and has a slope of -4. So that means for slope-intercept form, I need the M and the B. Did they give me either one of those on example A? What did they give me? They gave me the slope, which is the M, right? They did not give me a B. What did they give me instead? What's a point on it, right? A point on the line, but it's not the y-intercept, right? They just gave me some point on the line. So, can y'all think of a way that I can find out my B using the point that they gave me in my slope? Yes, sir, Cole? I'm not graphing. No. Not graphing it. You could, but that's not always feasible. How can I algebraically put it that way? How do you think I can find out what B is? Well, what equation do we know has a B in it? Okay. So if I got to find B, I need to know an equation that has B. Right? So how could I get B using that equation? Well, it has an M in it. Do I know my M? Yeah, so that's one thing I could plug in. What about Y and X? Do I know a Y and X to plug in? What Y and X? Where those numbers come from? The point, right? Right? So a point has an X and a Y in it, doesn't it? Right? Now, do I have enough to plug in for every variable except for B? Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to plug in Y for Y, M for M, X for X, and solve it for B. Okay? So if you don't have B, that's how you do it. You use a point that's on that line and the slope of that line and plug them all in. So what number goes in for Y? Equals what number goes in for M times what goes in for X? -1 plus B. And now I have all numbers, so that should be an easy equation to solve for B. First, I need to multiply these two. What's -4 times -1? So 3 equals +4 plus B. How do I solve that equation for B? Subtract 4 on each side. So 4 minus 4 cancels. What is 3 minus 4? -1 is B. Now I got a B. Do I have M and B? Yep. So what's my equation? Y equals -1. All right. So if you don't have a B, you use an ordered pair to plug in for Y and X, your slope to plug in for M, and solve the slope-intercept form for B. That's it. Now here's another one. This time we want the equation of the line that goes through the point 2, 3 and has a slope of negative 2. We want the equation of a line that goes through the point 2, 3 and has a slope of negative 2. Did they give me M or B? They gave me M. They said my slope was negative 2, so I've got M. But I don't have a y-intercept, do we? We have a point 2, 3. It's not on the y-axis. It's just a point on the line. So how are we going to get B? Yeah, here's X, here's Y, and I'm going to use Y equals mx plus B to plug them in. Y'all with me? What number goes in for Y? What number goes in for M? And what number goes in for X? 2 plus B. What's negative 2 times 2? So 3 equals negative 4 plus B. And how do I get B by itself? Add 4 to each side, and 3 plus 4 equals 7. So 7's B. Here's M. Here's B. What's my equation? Plus 7. Any questions? So far, so good? All right. You guys try that one. I want the slope of the line, or the slope-intercept form of the line that goes through 6, 3 and has a slope of 2. Do it on your paper right now, please. All right, check your equation with somebody when you're finished, please. All right, so we want our equation to look like y equals mx plus b. What do I need? What two things? Slope and y-intercept. Did they give me either one of them? They gave me the slope. What is the slope? 2. So how do I get the y-intercept? All right, you got a point. You use x and y. So for y equals mx plus b, what goes in for y? What goes in for m? What goes in for x? Well, 3 equals 2 times 6. So 3 equals 12 plus 6. How do I get b by itself? Subtract 12 on both sides. What's 3 minus 12? Negative 9 equals b. So what's my equation? Raise your hand if you got that for your final equation. Are there any questions? All right, so they've been easy on us. They've been giving us the slopes. So guess what's coming next? They're just going to give us 2 points. We got to find both of them. You can find slope, yes. Now, at the very beginning of this section, I gave you an order, right? Which one do you have to find first? If they don't give you a slope, you've got to find slope first. Because if you can't plug it into slope-intercept form and get B if you don't have M, right? You can't have 2 variables and solve for 1, right? Okay? First of all, is this a y-intercept though? No. What kind of intercept is this? It's an x-intercept, okay? You got to have 0 for the x value and the number in the y spot to be a y-intercept, okay? So no, they didn't give you anything. So I wanted to address that. This is x-intercept. That tells me nothing basically for a slope-intercept, right? So I need M and B. Find M first. So M equals, what's the formula? Over. Yep. Everybody, yes, sir. You're going to pick one. You get to pick. Yeah. When I get there, I'll do it. But yeah, you'll get to pick. It's not 3 over 0. All right. So what is y2? -4 minus. What is y1? 0. Over. What is x2? Minus. What is x1? 3. Everybody okay with how I plug that in? And y'all, I'm seriously babying y'all over these slopes because I'm telling you, I graded your test yesterday. That made me want to scream. Some of you can't do slopes. What is -4 minus 0? Over what is 2 minus 3? And what does that reduce to? +4. A negative divided by a negative is a positive slope. Okay? So got M. Do I have B? Not yet. I got to get it. So if you've got 2 points that they've given you, you pick one. Okay? Pick which one looks easier to you. Which one looks easier to you guys? 3, 0. Okay, so I would like put a box around whichever one you pick or something, because what will not work is you pick an X from this point and a Y from this point or vice versa. Okay? The X and Y you choose have to be from the same ordered pair. Alright? I don't care which point you pick, but make sure the X and the Y come from the same ordered pair. Alright? Alright, so I'm going to use Y equals MX plus B to get my B. So if I use 3, 0 for my point, what is my Y value? 0 equals what is M? What is X? 3 plus B. What is 4 times 3? 12. So 0 equals 12 plus B. And how do I solve for B? Subtract 12 everywhere. What's 0 minus 12? Equals B. Do I have M and B? What's my equation? Very good. So, y'all, that's seriously as hard as it gets is when you have to find both of them. Okay? That's as hard as it's getting today is when you have to find M and B. Slope formula first to get your slope. Plug it into Y equals MX plus B to get B. Pick one of those points. Okay? All right. So, this time they did it in function notation. We're not going to let this scare us. It's the same thing as an ordered pair. All right? So it says f of 4 equals 9 and f of -4 equals -7. So what's the first ordered pair as ordered pairs? 4, 9. What's the second ordered pair? -4, -7. So is everybody okay with how I converted my function notation to ordered pairs? They're in order, X then Y. Okay, the one in parentheses is always X. So, if I'm writing an equation of the line in slope-intercept form, what do I need to find first? Got to get slope first. You can't get B without M. Okay? So, M equals Y2 minus Y1 over x2 minus x1. What is my y2? Negative 7 minus what is y1? 9 over what is x2? Negative 4 minus what is x1? 4. If you can't get that on your own, label it. Alright, so what is negative 7 minus 9? Negative 16 over what is negative 4 minus 4? What is negative 16 over negative 8 reduced to? Positive 2, right? Negative divided by negative. So there's my m. Any questions on how I got that? Now I've got to get b. How do we want to do that? Yeah, I would use those two just because they're both positive, right? It don't matter, just pick one. It keeps consistent. Make sure you use the x and the y from the same ordered pair. So I'm going to use y equals mx plus b. If I'm using 4, 9, what's my y? Equals, what's my m that I found a while ago? What's my x? 4 plus b. And then what is 2 times 4? 8. And then how do I solve for b? Subtract 8. What's 9 minus 8? 1 equals b. So I got m and I got b. So what's my equation? Y equals 2x plus 1. Now hang on a second. Let's get technical for a second. Did they give me x and y values or did they give me function values? Function values. So technically, it should be not y equals, it should be f of x equals. All right? Okay? I know that's a technicality, but they gave us function values, so it really should be in function notation. I should, but I probably won't. But I'm just saying, if this was a multiple choice state test or a multiple choice benchmark test that y'all are actually going to have next week, I'll talk to you about later, this might not be an answer choice. Y'all with me? This might not be an answer choice. All right? So I just want you to recognize that anywhere, if it's in function values instead of y, they're probably going to have f of x. All right? All right? So if they give you function values instead of x and y values, they're probably wanting an equation in function form too. Okay? I want y'all to try these two. You got to do both. M and B. If you need help, let me know. If you get stuck, let me know. All right, when you have both equations, go ahead and check it with somebody if you already have them. All right, what did we have to do first, guys, on number 1? Yeah, if you don't have slope, that's what you have to find first if they don't give you anything else. So m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Everybody together tell me what y2 is. Oh, y'all are froze. I'm so sorry. All right, so y2 is what number? 4 minus -2. Watch your signs. Over what is x2? Minus 1. No, y'all, if we get this slope wrong, are we going to get B? No, you got to be good at slope. That's not me being mean. That's the truth. 4 plus 2 is what? 2 over what's -5 minus 1? And what does that reduce to? Y'all get -1 for your slope? Any questions about that? Because if you don't get -1, your B is going to be wrong. So I'm going to use y equals mx plus b to get my B. Does it matter which point we use? Actually, no. Raise your hand if you use the point 1, -2. Raise your hand if you use the point -5, 4. All right. Some of us use one. Some of us use the other. I'm going to use this one just because it's closer to me and I'm lazy. Too lazy look another inch. And I'm going to show you how we should get the same B. So if I use this point, my y is 4, my m is -1, and my x is -5. Yes, y over x, always. Yep. -1 times -5 is... So 4 equals 5 plus b. Subtract 5, and what do we get? -1 equals b. Do I need to plug in the other point for somebody? Did everybody get -1 for b if you got -1 for slope? All right, I got m and b. What's this equation? Can y'all write it another way? Yeah, instead of -1x, you could also say just -x minus 1. Both of those I'll accept. They're both correct, okay? Just want to show you that this might not be on the multiple choice. That this might be, okay? Raise your hand if you got one of those two. Any questions? All right. The next one gave us function values. So what's the first ordered pair? -2, 10. What's the second ordered pair? 4, -2. Did they give you M or B? Nope. Which one do you have to find first? Slope. What is y2? Minus what is y1? Over what is x2? Minus what is x1? All right. So what is -2 minus 10? -12. What is 4 minus -2? 4 plus 2 is 6. And what does that reduce to? -2. Then what do? Plug in one of your points for y and x. I'm just going to pick that one. But either if you pick the other one, you still should get the same B, okay? So if I use this one, I'll get -2 equals -2 times 4, correct? So I'm getting -2 equals -8 plus B. I add 8, and B equals what? Did everybody get 6 for B? Do I need to plug in the other one to check? Anybody's? Everybody got 6 for B? All right, what's my equation? Plus 6. Any questions? So another answer is what? F of x equals negative 2x plus 6. So either way they write it. So raise your hand if you got one of those two. Very good. So I just want y'all to realize they're the same. On your quiz for Thursday, yeah, I'll take this. Okay? Because it looks like the book's showing that answer as well. So either one of those I'll take and it's correct. Got it? Got it? Okay. I think there's one more thing I want to look at. Page 298, number 7. There's a reason I marked that. So let me look and see what it is. Number 47. Okay, yeah, turn to that. It's a word problem. Let's do a word problem together. So the more we do word problems, practice them, looking for those clue words, the easier they should click with us so we don't freak out when there's a word problem. Right? Okay? So the way we get comfortable with things is we work through them. Same thing with fractions. The way we get comfortable with fractions and good at fractions is practice fractions. All right? So page 298, number 47. Is everybody open their book there and ready to read with me? All right. 4 years. Hang on. We have a visitor. I thought the door was cracked open. I shut it. Open your book to page 298, please. All right. So it says 4 years after a hedge maple tree was planted, its height was 9 feet. So after 4 years, its height was 9 feet. 8 years after the hedge was maple tree's height was 12 feet. What is the growth rate? Now, what does rate sound like? Clue word for slope. So, if I need to find a slope, then I need 2 ordered pairs, right? Right? Can I make 2 ordered pairs from the information they told me about this tree? Yes. How can I make 2 ordered pairs? After 4 years, how tall was the tree? 9 feet. So years is the x values, the height is your y values. Do y'all see that? Okay, so my first one is 4 years, it was 9 feet. First ordered pair. First sentence told me that. Y'all okay with that? Now what's my second ordered pair going to be, do you think? Yeah, after 8 years, it was 12 feet. So I'm having my x be the number of years it's been since it was planted, the y value being the height of the tree. Y'all with me? So if I want to find its growth rate, how fast it grew, that means I need to find the slope of those two numbers. Y'all with me? All right. So its growth rate is going to be, what's y2? Minus 9 over minus 4. What is 12 minus 9? Over 4. So its growth rate is 3 feet in 4 years. Y'all see that? Because my x's, or my y values are feet, my x values are years, and slope is y over, I see that backwards. Erase. That was a 9. Okay, so this is going to be, its growth rate is 3 feet in 4 years. All right, feet per year. Now, okay, y'all, this tree is getting bigger every year, right? Right? So that would indicate that would have a positive growth rate, right? Right? So we got a positive slope because that tree is growing, it ain't shrinking. Now maybe when the tree gets in its old age and it starts losing some big tall limbs, it might be shrinking. So right now the tree is growing because it's only 8 years old, okay? Trees last longer than we do. All right. It says, the last question it asks, see, that's my first question. The last question is, what is its height when it was planted? Now, how old was that tree when it was planted? How old are you when you're born? You're 0 years old, right? Right? So how old is a tree when it's planted from a seed? 0. So its height would be a y-intercept if the x value is 0, right? Time is 0, how tall it is. So we want to know how tall was the tree. And it could have been they went to Lowe's and they bought it in the bucket and put it on home and put it in the ground, right? Right? It could be from that day, all right? That's how I plant my trees. I don't do seeds, I do buckets, all right? So we want to know how tall it was on day 0, year 0. So that means I'm looking for the y-intercept, right? So if you're looking for the amount from the beginning, that's initial value, starting value. That's your y-intercept. How can we get that? Yeah, if I'm finding a y-intercept, I'm finding b, right? So just like we've been doing. I want to use that number just because they're all even and it might come out better. I don't know. So what if I use that point? What's my y? 12 equals, what's my slope? 3/4. And what is my x value? 8 plus b. What's 3/4 of 8? Yeah, because remember my trick, top times big divided by bottom? 8 times 3 is 24, divided by 4 is 6. Right? 12 equals 6 plus b, then what? Minus 6. And what do I get? 6 equals b. It's actually 6 feet. Right? So when I took that tree out of the bucket from Lowe's or wherever I got it from, put it in the ground, it's 6 feet tall. All right? And then 4 years later, it was 9 feet tall. And 4 years after that, it was 12 feet tall. That make sense? So do y'all see how we made those into ordered pairs and did that word problem like that? Okay? Look at clue words. Rate or per or anything like that is talking about slope. What amount you start with is talking about your y-intercept. All right? So that is the end of the lesson for today. Have a good day.